All right, welcome back with Kyle and Jack. Like I put your name first.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't
like
get used
that.
to it. This week on the Safety Mile with Jack and Kyle, we're going to cover a few topics this week. Myself, I'm going to talk about distracted driving. Kyle?
We're going to be talking about permit books as well as what's inside the paper books, like paper logs.
Okay. All right, we are a little late today. We had a little scheduling conflict. We usually going to do this about 10:30 every Thursday morning. So I do want to say a big shout out to Shannon for allowing us to get together and communicate with the drivers, reach out back and forth. So don't forget to drop those comments in. You know, Shannon's allowing us to do this, Katrina, Kyle, and myself to do this. So that's kind of a huge deal. So, want to do some driver recognition?
Yeah, absolutely.
And get it started? Kyle?
Yeah, absolutely. So birthdays first, guys. Happy birthday for everyone that I'm about to mention here. We've got George Heller, Remy Smith, Rex Rule, Billy Weimer, Sean Lee, David Cotto, Brian Harrell, Eddie Laura, Richard Cole, Belinda Gardner, Jay Groot, Thomas Lineweber, Alan Anderson, Sin Jin Jackson, Alan Anderson. I already said your name, but double happy birthday for you, man. I hope it's a good one. Larissa Scott, Tammy Blair, Sasha Riley, and finally Jackie Morton Jr. Happy birthday, guys.
All right, Jack Morton, know this guy pretty well. He's actually one of our the only 4 million mile driver we got. These are JCT miles only.
Look at that.
He has been at John Christner now for over 27 years, probably over half his life. So I've worked with him a long time. He's done great. Here's his jacket. I was going to be wearing it, but it's a little warm, so I didn't put it on. So whenever Jack gets by the yard here, we'll get his jacket to him. Also, we're going to be celebrating that 4 million mile achievement this winter at the OTA Safety Council banquet. So if you guys can get by and join us for that, that would be awesome. Okay, anniversaries. 1 year anniversary is going to be James Boyer, Stephen Zisk, and Stephen Thornton. Two-year anniversaries, that's going to be David DeFranco. 3 years going to be Ivy Kuklinski.
All right, happy anniversary, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. You stick with us long enough, you're going to be getting yourself a $4 million, not $4 million, $4 million mile jacket. My goodness, $4 million jacket.
Dollar buyout. Here on the yard today, doing their dollar buyout is going to be Elton Anthony and Bunny Anthony. They've just paid off their truck.
Wow.
They're going to sell that thing out. They're going to grab them another truck and take off. So they're going to grab them a new truck too.
Amazing.
So pay one off and get a new one. That is so awesome. All right, Kyle, what we got?
All right, so for the featured violation topic of this week, I wanted to go over permit books and paper logs. You guys might not know this about permit books, but it's an easy violation to get to not have your permit book, which I've actually got a little representation of what one looks like. Of course, you guys know black book you get after orientation. You got to keep this with you in arm's reach of your seated position in the driver's side. What we suggest is that you keep it right in your door compartment on your left-hand side. That's easy access for you and the officer. Things you want to remember about what's inside of here, things such as, if I can turn the page here, there's a manual for your ELD. So that is actually a violation. If you do not have that on your hand or know where that is, the officer can give you a quick violation just for not having that on hand.
Exactly.
The registration for your truck, of course, that's the law. Make sure you're always getting that renewed whenever that's about to expire. We'll be reaching out to you through your Qualcomm. Pay attention to that stuff. Your IFTA license will be in there. Your truck insurance, of course. Annual inspection, as well as various state permits. And the thing I also wanted to talk about, which is your driver paper logbook, which is also required by regulation. The FMCSA states that you got to have 8 days worth of paper logs in your truck at all times. We have conveniently placed this within the black book, which should be, again, where, Jack?
I'd put it in my door pocket of the door, so it's
Door
right
pocket.
there.
Exactly. Now, we've actually given you 30 days worth of paper logs, so you don't have to worry about only having 8 days worth of them. If at any point you are running low on your paper logs, be sure to reach out to us so we can make sure we get that to you. But it is, in fact, a violation if you do not give that to them or know where they are. And I will say that's probably one of the more common violations we get. One, because, these DOT officers, they're like, easy violation, easy money for the state, easy money for the government. They can give that to you at any point that they want to. You just have to know where that thing is, which again, you should not be taking it out of this black book, which should be where, Jack?
I'd put it in the door pocket.
In the door pocket. Okay, I'm going to say that's going to be it from you guys. Off to my main man, Jack.
All right, guys, distracted driving this week. This is a pretty sensitive topic I want to share with you guys. Most usually, nowadays when we talk distracted driving, we're thinking more along the lines of electronic devices such as cell phones, GPSs, and those things like that tend to distract us from the roadway. This is true, but actually distracted driving goes much bigger than that. It's a little broader than what we think. For example, I'll throw a few statistics out there. I'm sure everybody loves to hear those. So for 2022, there was over 3,100 fatalities on the U.S. roadways due to distracted driving alone. Of that created 424,000 injuries on top of that. So due to distracted driving. Now it is true, the time it takes you to look at a cell phone to read a text, you're at 55 miles an hour, your vehicle is going to travel the length of a football field. So take that, move that to 70 miles an hour, you're going to travel 1 1/3 lengths of a football field. That is a huge distance to travel with your eyes not on the roadway. Now for us in a truck, we have things that kind of attack us a little more, such as, a lot of times we're reaching for our soda or reaching for our coffee. That does take our eyes off the roadway for just a second as well. Or, reaching in that bag of chips, while we're eating going down the road because, we got to make those miles. Your hand gets stuck in that bag of chips and trying to get your hand out, it creates a problem. Your eyes leave the roadway and it creates an issue. Now, for most professional drivers, we understand distracted driving very well, and we do a very good job of it, of taking care of it, avoiding it. But here's the thing. Several years ago, one of them, the National Highway Traffic Safety Council did a survey of about 30,000 people from all ages, all backgrounds. Asked them to rate themselves as drivers. Okay, excellent, above average, average, fair, poor. Out of all those people surveyed, how do you think most of them rated themselves as drivers?
I mean, I imagine people are pretty cocky out there on the road, right? They think they're pretty good. I would say excellent for most of them, right?
You're exactly right. Over 96.8% of everybody surveyed rated themselves above average or excellent. So would you consider all the people, well, let's say 97% of the people around you driving down the road, would you consider them to be above average or excellent drivers?
Man, I don't know if I consider 50% of them to be
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens is you have driver error and distracted driving. If those happen to cross paths at any time, that can create a huge tragedy for us. And guys, we're traveling down the road at 80,000 pounds. We're over 70 feet long, over 8 foot wide, and 13.5 feet tall. Things like that can cause huge trouble, as far as driver error coupled with the distracted driving. Also, as drivers, we tend to see a little more distracted driving creep up on us. Truck stops, shippers, receivers. One, because we're traveling at a slower speed, right? You're not cruising down the highway at 70 miles an hour. You don't have things flying at you from all different angles quite so much. So we tend to get a little complacent because we're moving slower, and that's when we get up against the yellow pole, or we have a minor backing incident, or maybe we run over that big rock at the corner of the property there and grab it with our trailer and get up under it. That's a terrible mess. We see that happen quite a little bit. So distracted driving happens a lot in those types of places. And then plus as drivers, when things happen at home, right? And you've got stuff weighing on your mind that's kind of taking your consciousness away from your job at hand. We really need to work on that, keep our eyes moving, stay focused of the job at hand, and stay on top of our game.
Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, again, we're going to be doing this every Thursday, 10:30 a.m., hopefully next time, right?
Hopefully at 10:30, yes.
Shout out to Katrina for helping us set this thing up and everything, and for filming this. And guys, of course, give your comments, give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it, and we hope to hear from you soon. Stay safe out there, all right?
Thank you. Take care, guys. Be safe.